Well, I'm going to work on my big swale today. I've got a high spot in the center and I don't like where it's draining from. I'll show you when I get over there. But I was going to show you this real quick. This is where my deer feeder was. I had placed 2 round bales there. And when you place a round bales there and let the cow eat it, I call it a 2-year dead zone. I mean, there's so much mulch sitting there. It's probably 2 years before you see anything decent growing there. So you know, you can seed it, and another thing you can do is go and mow over it. That's what I was going to show you real quick. I mean, you can see like all this right here. I mean, you can take a round bale that was probably 20-foot diameter after the cows were done, mow it when it's dry, and you can actually shoot it out to where it's a 40-foot circle. Anyway, it ends up with a lot quicker recovery rate. I mean, the ultimate is actually rolling the round bales out, so you get this big 200-foot long mulch layer that's going to be a lot thinner than this, and it recovers in probably 6 weeks. I know a lot of people in their part of the world, they can't get the round bales or the loaves or square bales, and you can't just roll them. Anyway, you can just see this is the overspray from the mower. Anyway, that helps a lot. Anyway, I got the skid steer. Let's head over to the big swale. Okay, we're out here at the big swale, and I did a little bit of selective mowing for this project. But before I get started, well, let me show you what I'm gonna do. I came out here after a rain and just observed it, and I put a rock and a stone in, but in the center of my swale, it's got a high spot. So water's to the left, water's to the right. So I'm gonna dig that out. And then also noticed, and this is like a real bad thing, that the overflow of the swale was coming out here in the corner. It was coming out here in the corner, and I thought that was fine, but I started walking because it was raining. I walked the water flow out of there, and I've got a little pond over here, and then all that water overflowing was going into the overflow of this pond. So this whole field here, the only water it's getting, besides the raindrops falling on the field itself, all the water coming down from the hill and everything, whatever puddles and soaks in, it'll make its way over there. But all the overflow from it is literally just getting pushed into the overflow, which is basically taken to the creek. So that is a big waste of water. So that's why I'm kind of prioritizing this. So right now I'm gonna just scoop out of the middle, and I'm gonna start damming up this around here. And before I get started, I wanted to show one more tip. This is a kind of a supervisory tip, but if you look at the swale, because it's on contour, let me go over here where it's more obvious. Anyway, the swale is not straight at all. Hopefully you can see it here. It goes down and then it hoop-de-hoos around. And so looking down on it, it's a squiggly line. But if it's on contour and you go downhill and look at it, it should be a straight line. And this was just an interesting observation, and something like I said, maybe somebody's building a swale for you. So if you look at it, you know, you don't see the hoop-de-hoo anymore. You know, it's just a straight line. And you can even get more technical than this. You could literally, and I haven't tried this, so this is speculation, but let's say you just set up a couple of sawhorses here and you put a level across there, let's say a 6-foot level across here. So you've got it going like this. You could literally eyeball down there and have somebody start placing stakes for contour lines. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, if y'all each had a phone, you're looking down a level, and that level is level, and you're using your eyesight, you can pretty much lay out the swale. Or anyway, that's just an interesting thing. I haven't tested it, but Nick had told me about that. He was a big project where they were installing windows, and he just went back to his truck, put the level on the bed of his truck, and with his phone he was telling everybody you know, it's probably dealing with 5 different people at the same time, telling them if their windows were level or not to nail them in. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna get on the skid steer. Looks like we may get a little bit of rain. I'm gonna get on skid steer and start moving some dirt. All right. So we've got a lot dug out here. I'm not gonna say I'm I'm not gonna say that I'm level here, but I'm not too concerned about it at this point. I probably got easily 8-inch cliff wall here, so I dug out 8 inches here. So this may even be the new low point for this swale. I don't know if I can explain this correctly, but you know, you don't have to be like overly obsessive about getting the bottom level. I mean, I think you can just look at this and know that on the next rain, these walls are going to start crashing down. It's going to want to be at an angle, and the rain's going to push it. And at some point I may come back here with the bucket and scoop up and slope these sides and make it more attractive. But like I said, rains are coming. I didn't want to lose this water, so I'm out here. Anyway, as this stuff comes down, it's going to flow to the deepest part of the swale and start filling it in. So it's going to level itself over time. It's just a matter of whether you want to do something quicker. Anyway, let's go look at where I'll put the dirt. I had quite a bit, so I'm going to come over here real quick. I put some in here. This is a project from a few years ago, and I wish I would have recorded it because it was pretty green compared to the surrounding area. But that building down there, I was keeping hay in it, and there was like a 1-foot drop off to actually get in it with the tractor. So I had, I think it was Danny came out here, told him just start digging a trench here, get the gravel, because it's like limestone underneath. It's like road base that we would buy around here. Anyway, so we kind of tapered it out at that building so I could drive the skid steer into there. And then we took all the cedar branches that had been trimmed and stuck them in there and covered them with dirt. So this was a big green area because of that, but it was also sunken, and part of it being green may be that it was sunken, so it was actually collecting water. Anyway, it's going to continue to sink, but I went ahead and put a layer of the soil here, and I was going to show you this over here. I mean, you can see all this limestone, and that limestone probably came out to about right here. But I spent 1 year just rolling out the round bales here and placing round bales there, and some of them were those wheat or oat bales that I like so much because they have seeds. It's wheat hay, not straw. Straw means the seed's been harvested and then they bale it up. Mine was actually hay, which still had it in it. Anyway, so it kind of healed this area because, like I said, this was all just looking just like this. You know, you can see it continue to slope down and down and down. Anyway, just some power of putting the hay where it can do some good for your land. Okay, so I piled the dirt up over here on this right end, and like I said, this corner is where it was overflowing, and the fact that it was just going straight down to the overflow of the pond did me no good. So I've kind of got it stacked here. My next step, which will be on this video, is I'm going to spread this out and compact it the best I can with the skid steer tires. Anyway, let me hop back on and get that done. Okay, well, here's a little progress picture of the end that I'm doing here. So that's how I left it, and this is where I'm spreading it out. And I'll have to go back as I'm coming around here. I've got a pretty good drop right here, but it's on the end, but I'm still going to come back and fill it out. I'm just taking the bucket and just coming straight at it and then just pushing it back with the teeth down to kind of determine what thickness I want. Then I'm coming back down it with the bucket flat like you see there to kind of compress it. After that, I'll just run the skid steer that way, making sure I don't turn. It's very important not to turn if you're going to use it as a compact. You know, I generally just go forward and then kick it in a little bit at an angle and come back and just do a bunch of front and backs and front and backs. Anyway, it's progressing pretty good. So you can see I know it'll compact a little bit more, but when you look at this, this right here was the overflow, and I'd say 6 or 8 inches I've added to that. So that's 6 or 8 inches more water that's going to hold in here before it overflows. And then I dug out 8 inches there. So this is going to be a lot more water, and I'll be excited to see it when it's raining. And if it rains soon, we may show it with water before this video ends. We'll know here soon. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so here's everything spread out. I'm in position to just run over it back and forth, try to pack it in. Okay, so right over here, when I went the long way down here, it sunk in pretty good, and this is where the washout was. It kind of sunk in more, so I add a little bit more dirt there, and I'm gonna add a little bit more. But you can see on this side, I just went back and forth, and just keep going until it's all tire track. You don't want to take turns, especially on a skid steer when you're doing this. Just keep going straight till you clear it, then adjust and come backwards. And as you miss little spots, you can, backward is pretty much just going backwards, and then forward you can aim it to hit a specific spot that you might have missed. Anyway, I'm gonna put a little bit more dirt in there because I've got down in the hole there's where I was spinning the skid steer, I've got some loose dirt there. So I'm gonna come in this way, scoop it up, dump it there, and then finish packing this side in. All right, well, it's starting to thunder a little bit. I don't know what kind of rain we have coming. All right, so the end, like I said, I went back and forth, and then put a little bit more dirt here, went back and forth, and you can see it's pretty much all tire tracks. That's what I was looking for. And then on this first maybe 10 feet here, I went ahead and went back and forth again. I wanted to get this area here really compacted down, because that's where the water was coming out. Not done yet. Zach Weiss is in the back of my head. It's not done until it's mulched and seeded. So if you want to stick with me, we're gonna finish this thing up for good. I'll be right back. Got a little dilemma. I was gonna steal a little bit of their hay, you know. Oh, here they come. Had to get them in the corral, trick them into coming in the corral so I could lock them in, so I could take this hay. I'm just gonna take a little taste of it, girls. Just a little taste. Anyway, trying to get them in. Then I'm gonna go roll out a little bit of this hay on the Swale Repair, and then give them the rest of it. But I got to go through the paddock they're in to get it there, and they're going to follow the hay all the way down there. So I got to get Justin to move. There he goes. All right, Bermuda, hay, there's my area. I'm going to cut this, lift it up, get the belling off, and then I'm going to try to hand roll it. If I can't hand roll it down there, I'll use a skid steer to push it. Hey, it's even facing the right direction to roll, looks like. All right, let's get this thing rolled out. All right, so I got just one roll rolled out, one layer rolled out. There's the rest of the bale. I'm gonna just by hand start picking it up and spreading it out till I cover this whole area. After that, I found some Sudan grass, which I'm gonna throw over the hay. There's always a debate about seeding under the mulch versus over the mulch, and I mean, both can work. I guess what can happen is if you put it on the ground, put the mulch over it, the seed can actually run under the mulch and escape and go out. If you throw it on the mulch as it rains, the rain's going to push it into the hay and kind of lock it in. So that's the method I'm going to use here. Anyway, let me get this spread out, get it seeded, get this to the cows, and let's see if it's going to rain. Well, with that hay spread out far, I could have went and double this amount, but since I'm running out of time, it's about 3 o'clock, and there's a store I got to get to before it closes at 5 o'clock. Anyway, I'm gonna seed this thing right now and then head to the store I need to. Now I decided I'm gonna take the rest of this and roll it out in Candyland. Candyland is a little paddock where I'll try to let the grass go real big, like maybe they can get into it one day, once a month kind of thing. I was always amazed at when you roll out the hay, how beautiful it recovers. I mean, I think I talked in this video how when you just set a round bale out, it's like 2 years later, it's still struggling to grow unless you seed it or start mowing it to spread it out. Anyway, I'm gonna take what's left of this, roll it out, and should come back in about 6 weeks, making weekly, I'll make some weekly videos of it, and then at about 6 weeks, it should be almost invisible where the grass is just growing through it. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna do that, but I guess we're gonna call this done unless I get a rain, and then I'll pop back in and show the swale. But yeah, one day, about 2 hours, we got this well fixed. So a gallon of gas and a half a round bale of hay and a couple bucks worth of seed. Anyway, we'll see what happens after the rain, see if we got it fixed for good or have to keep tweaking on it. All right, y'all be good.